Hello again, and welcome to this episode of the Fully Alive podcast. My name is Dr. Medina Gross, and I am an executive well-being coach. In part one of this conversation, we discussed the first three levels of the energy leadership model developed by Dr. Bruce Schneider, the founder of IPEC Coaching and the author of the book Energy Leadership. This framework helps us understand ourselves and our experience in a more tangible way. Once we can objectively see who we are being now, we can start to see how we can redirect our energy into becoming who we are really meant to be. We lose so much valuable time in self-delusion. Because we can't see ourselves objectively, we believe that we're showing up much more open and generous than we actually are. It's really difficult, if not impossible, for anyone else to tell us who we are being. We have to discover this for ourselves. And this energy leadership model is a tool that will help you discover who you really are being now. So remember, the ultimate goal of this conversation and this framework is to help you have more awareness of who you are and how you act, help you understand what drives your perceptions, your feelings, and your actions, so that you can recognize and change habits and patterns that are no longer serving you. I want you to be able to respond, not react to the stressors in your life. And I want you to be able to choose how you show up under any circumstances, showing up in a way that aligns with your highest self. So this week, we're going to talk about the creative levels of energy. Part one talked about the survival levels of energy, and we introduced the creative levels with level 3. Once again, level 3 being that level that is pivotal. And if you haven't heard part one, I highly encourage you to go back to that, because this level 3 is that pivotal part that shifts us into the creative energetic levels we're talking about today. Now, I had mentioned before that this is not a logical sequential process, and yet this level 3 is important, because level 3 is where we no longer are willing to live at the effects of life. We're no longer willing to be the victim of life. We're willing to step up and take responsibility for our own experiences. Even if, and most of the time we don't have any idea what that really means, but we trust some part of ourselves, and hopefully you can trust me and other resources that can show you what else is possible. And that is what we're here to do today, talking about these creative levels of energy. This is what else is possible. And again, one more thing before we move on is just to remind you that we all live at all levels, right? These are not levels that are unfamiliar to you. They just may not be your default levels of energy. So with all of that being said, let's dive into these energetic creative levels, starting with level 4, the caregiver. Now, once again, we're talking about the core beliefs, the core emotions, and the behavior at each one of these levels of energy. And the core belief for the caregiver is you win. The core emotion is compassion, and the behavior is service. Now, this is a moderately creative level, and the core thought is all about other people. It's all about caring, giving, supporting, and helping. Now, level 4 energy looks and feels very selfless, since the focus of all of these actions is to work to achieve so that others succeed. Now, let's make a point here of contrasting what we've just heard. We're being very selfless. This is not codependent behaviors. And I think that's really important to say, because again, most of us live at that level 2 survival level. And from that perspective, we may be caring about others, but in a way that is really codependency. This level is not codependency. So codependency would be, I'm going to give to you, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to, whatever it is, the exchange, right? I'm giving to you because I expect something in return. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or somewhere down the line, there is this unspoken expectation of something in return. Maybe it's just acknowledgement. Maybe you tell me how wonderful I am on a regular basis. I'm giving to you because I want something back. That's level 2. compassion. That's level 2 service. But we're talking about level 4. So at level 4, we give because we have it to give. We give freely, expecting nothing in return. We give because we believe life is abundant and it isn't taking anything from us. Because it's not taking anything from us, it's all about the other person. Leaders with level 4 energy form really deep connections to other people. Because people sense, they have that compassion, and that energy, again, energy is contagious. And so these level 4 leaders inspire other people around them just by their presence to serve others. These leaders foster collaboration, teamwork, and loyalty, and empathy on their teams. One of my favorite things about level 4 is we no longer feel the need to make others wrong. Rather, we ask questions to help ourselves or others see situations differently. This is a very high level of energy, which can lead to great success. So that's level 4. Let's move on now to level 5, the opportunist. The core belief at level 5 is we both win. The core emotion is peace, and the core behavior is acceptance. Now, this is a relatively high level of creative energy, and it's found in the greatest leaders in all walks of life. Because these leaders are highly conscious and they have a wide-ranging view of situations. Their vision, their perception is tangibly bigger and broader than those that are in survival mode. At level 5, we reconcile good and bad, right and wrong, so that there's no need to judge anything. We're just looking for information. We're curious at this level. People at level 5 energy begin to see everything as an opportunity. Now, that doesn't mean that they make lemonade out of lemons. Again, that's a level 2 kind of I win, or level 3. But at this level, they're genuinely excited when things don't go the way they expect them to, because they know that whatever this deviation is for their higher good. It's for the good of the cause. And so they start to see, oh my gosh, well, I thought it should be this, but the universe is telling me this. Where's the gift here? What is it that I'm getting here that I thought I was getting with my initial idea? A lot of people give lip service to being at this level where they reconcile and accept differences, and yet all the while inside they're having to do the flip-flops. So they want to present themselves in this way, but they're not feeling this way inside. They got to put their level 5 mask on, which, as already, is not a level 5 behavior. And people recognize this. And I think that in my own leadership experience, I thought I was leading from a level 5. I felt like I was level 5. But when I look now from a more objective perspective, I was definitely a level 2, 3 at best kind of behavior, unknowingly. And again, that's why we're doing this, because we delude ourselves believing that we are showing up in ways that we're really not. Leaders with level 5 energy are calm, they're powerful, they're entrepreneurial minded, confident, and feel a sense of inner peace and fulfillment. They're in control of their lives, and they live with the belief that they can and do create their life experiences. These leaders see their team members as gifted and full of potential. They will always see the best in other people. They're always thinking about synergy and ways to succeed through their connections. I was thinking sometimes I like this analogy of having a champion, someone who can stand for you and believe things for us when we're in our survival mode that we can't see for ourselves. These level 5 leaders are those champions. They are living in this space where there is nothing but possibilities and opportunities. And so leaders at this level can observe others operating from a lower level of energy and feel compassion for them, and just still hold that mirror for them. Here's what's possible. Here's what's possible, without the need to control or to make them or to change them in any way. That again would be a level 2, maybe level 3 kind of perception if I need to change somebody. So level 5 is a great place to be, but we have still 2 more levels that we can get to. And so let's talk about level 6, the visionary. At level 6, the core belief is everyone always wins. The core emotion is joy, and the core behavior is wisdom. And this very high creative energy level is associated with synthesis, which is a way of blending the illusion of individuality and instead the ability to see the whole. When we're at these lower levels, the lower the level, the more separate we see things. At this level, we begin to see the connections between everything, the lack of separateness between everything. Individuals at this level see everyone and everything as part of themselves. This is that phrase you might have heard, it's always me looking at me, or you looking at you. We are the same. We're just different expressions of the same energy. So what does that mean for leaders at this level? Leaders at this level seem to know what's going on in their organizations without even having to ask. They're just that tuned in. They have a sense of intuition and they use it to make decisions and generate ideas. They share in projects rather than completely delegating because they really want to still be a part of. They're not separating themselves from the activity, they're included in it. And once again, they see gifts in themselves and others. And they know that the support that they get from the team is really what elevates them. And so they recognize that they wouldn't be who they are without other people around them. That's level 6 leadership. And now finally, let's talk about level 7, the creator. At the core belief is winning and losing are illusions. There is no winning and losing. The core emotion is absolute passion, and the core behavior is creating. We're just in a creative mode. This is the highest level of creative energy and is characterized by completely objective thinking, non-judgment, and fearlessness. The master of this level can tap into and use any of the lower levels at will. Now, no one resonates at this level, meaning this is not the default energetic level for anyone, but this is available to us. So at level 7 energy, leaders are capable of viewing their world and their organizations with complete objectivity. It is understood that winning and losing is just an illusion. It's not even part of the conversation. Now, people who tap into this level of energy are the most powerful people in the world. They consciously co-create their life experiences and are participants and observers of their life at the same time. So today, we have discussed the levels 4 through 7, the creative levels of the energy leadership model developed by Dr. Bruce Schneider. And once again, I hope that the descriptions of these energetic levels help you understand when you show up in each of these levels. How often do you think you spend at each of these levels? I hope you understand the core behaviors, those core beliefs, and those core emotions. I hope you can now see how these are showing up for you. And ultimately, the whole point of this is to not only know ourselves better, but then to give ourselves more options. If I need to withdraw and go into a survival mode, I can give myself permission to do that without judgment. And yet, when I'm done with that level, I'm also ready to drop it and move on to something that is more creative. I can be in those survival modes for the sake of recuperating, but I don't get stuck there. I hope that this conversation around the energy leadership model has started to already spark some awareness within you about when you show up as a survivor, someone who feels like they're losing, or maybe you're just trying to win and prove yourself at all costs at level 2. Or maybe you find yourself just stuck in level 3. You're just rationalizing, and yet things just don't seem to be moving past that. That's not uncommon, because if you don't know what else to go towards, no wonder you're just in a holding pattern at level 3. So again, adding these creative levels today now gives you a description of what else is possible. And once again, I encourage you to take the Energy Leadership Index. This is a valid and reliable assessment that will help you understand the energy that you are bringing to your life. What energy do you bring under stress? What is the energy levels that you bring under normal circumstances? And together, be able to see how these patterns are shaping your life. And when you see that without judgment, you can say, okay, this is something I no longer need or want to be about. And now that I see this and feel this, I can align with these aspirational, these creative levels of energy. So the link to connect with me about the Energy Leadership Index will be in the description below. I encourage you to, whether you take the index or not, apply this information to your life. Listen to this multiple times so that you begin to understand the difference between the levels. As questions come up, reach out to me, ask questions that will help you understand this, because this is how you start to develop self-awareness in a way that's not self-delusional. It's outside of your own frame of reference. And this is how you ultimately begin to create a life where you are fully alive. Thank you so much for being with me for this conversation, for this journey. I am here to be your guide and to walk with you along the way. I know the path isn't easy, but it is well worth the effort. Thank you for being here.